What's going on, everybody? Mike Stadler here.
Karl here.
The Obsession Podcast 2023.
Bam.
Year 2.
Episode 50, whatever.
We could call it 1.
Yeah.
1B.
1B. S2.
Season 2.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Nice.
Get it done.
Welcome back.
So, we got some questions that have been coming in already. New year, new goals, new hunting, new everything.
Yes, sir.
So, I have a few here. Karl said he wants me to surprise him. He has no idea what's going on.
Don't make me spit my water out.
I mean, in general.
That's natural. It's been like that forever, bro.
So, we'll start with one here. Got a question on how to mentally prep and repetition for archery hunting success.
For hunting success.
Yeah. We don't care about
Target
shooting. That's a whole nother one. We'll get into that one later.
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of crisscross. They do kind of crisscross. So, the first thing I'm going to say is I've seen a lot of great target archers that cannot shoot a deer.
Oh,
I mean, guys like professional,
we're gonna drink a little.
make a living shooting their bow, not be able to shoot animals because they get cranked up and they forget everything they did. Maybe not so much in the last 5 or 6 years, but when we were filming with Summit, I mean, I remember one time directly, 21-yard shot, 150, 160 inch 10-pointer, hunting in North Dakota. And very first arrow, he missed completely. Second arrow, he spined the animal. And it took 2 more. He missed again while the animal was on the ground. And then finally, on his last arrow, heart shot him. Professional archer from Hoyt.
Yep.
Great guy, whatever, but just freaked out in that moment for some reason.
Yep.
What do I think? First of all, every time you make a shot, whether we're shooting league or we're actually practicing in our yard or whatever, I think you need to make every shot as if it is that one shot a year you get at an animal. Mentally. But big thing for repetition, you got to get your anchor points down, get your bow set where you want it to be, where it needs to be for you to make the proper shot. When these guys are going to full draw and they're messing around trying to look through their peep sight and stuff like that, if you're ever like that in a tree or on a hunt, you're in trouble. And that's the technical part of it. I don't know if the question's based more towards the mental part of it.
I think kind of everything, because I think we've seen a lot of, missed opportunities.
Yes.
Mentally. And I think it gets to the point where people want the animal so bad that, you do something that you shouldn't be doing.
That's true.
At that point, or you're really pulling it or really torquing your bow, or you haven't shot enough. Like the repetition, I think obviously is the biggest thing. Every time you pull the bow back, you come back the same way. I mean, I see, people like, well, I got to get this nose button, I got to get this butt button. And, I don't know, put 46 things on their bow to bring your anchor points right. I mean, I get some of them, I guess. I don't. Yeah. But I mean, if you're shooting your bow enough, I mean, it should be a real natural pull in and settle every time. Like you say, because you want to make that same shot, so you should be pulling in and settling the same every time, no matter what you're doing.
And that's 100% repetition, I believe. Proper setup with bow. I mean, there's a lot of people. Do you set up your own equipment? If you do, great. And you know how you should have everything set, I guess. Most people that take the time to learn how to set up equipment are that meticulous. They understand proper form and proper draw length and all that. Whereas if you go to one of the big brand name stores and you have a bow set up, I would almost put money on, not all the time, but the majority of the time, that your draw length is not where it should be. You know, there's a lot of variables there. Go to your local archery shop. These guys have local shops, will set you up right because they want their customer base to be successful. You know, big stores, and I'm not hammering on Bass Pro or Cabela's or anything like that. The majority of their bow techs that are there learn the basics, and that is it. There's a lot more involved in it. Equipment, you know, this is gonna probably sound bad to most of you. When it comes to archery equipment, as far as I'm concerned, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Quality equipment costs more money. And
Like anything.
Like anything.
It's, you know.
And quality equipment will save you sometimes when you do something wrong.
Yeah, it can.
It can. Bad decision making is bad decision making all the way around, I think. That's the one thing that people need to work on the most, I think, is being able to make the right decisions when that time comes,
Yep.
when it comes to shooting animals. You know, when to draw, when not to draw. You know, looking through your shot. Now, how many of us have pulled back on a target, on an animal, and looked right through a twig or something and hit a twig?
Yep.
You know, happens. None of us want it to happen, but it does happen.
Yeah.
You know, repetition to me is the number one thing that makes.
Yeah, there's, you know, I think a lot of people don't learn a follow through with a shot. They don't understand a follow through with a shot.
Don't
There is, in my opinion, there's a follow through with a shot.
100%.
And I see people that don't do it. And I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm the best archer in the world.
No.
And I go to, you know, Karl and I will start league here shortly for winter. So we shoot year round. This is the longest stretch I went without shooting my bow.
Me too. Usually hunting season. When
But the bow is in the shot. She's getting a tune up.
Yes, she
That's
is.
why.
Yes, she is.
But
She'll be ready soon.
you know, when we start, you know, there's a lot of people that always shoot me on the range. I could care less.
Right.
I'm as competitive as anybody you'll ever meet too. Like I don't want to beat anything ever.
No.
I want to be better. But you know, the hunting situations, the real life, live time situations are where I want to succeed. You know, which we're lucky enough to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Whether that comes from stuff we did in our background or not, probably. The way we are, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But we shoot and shoot and shoot and follow through. And, you know, I had a problem, I don't know, what is it now? It's 2023, so I want to say, was it 17,
Yeah.
16?
Oh, when you had target panic?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Real bad. I had it bad. I could not figure it out. And I missed a lot of animals that year. This was before we went out west.
Yep.
Ended up shooting a good buck, hit him back. The neighbor stole.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, yeah.
100% he stole him. He's a dick.
Yeah.
For it. Whatever. It happened. I ended up killing another deer, which is actually the biggest 8-pointer I've ever killed. I ended up actually shooting that year too. I got lucky. I only went back out because I was mad.
Yeah.
Made a marginal shot on him, but killed him.
Yep.
And I literally didn't throw everything away, but threw everything away. Like, I bought a new bow.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of different releases. You know, I went to a different sight setup. I went to a different release setup. I went to a D loop. Is where I shot off the string.
Mhm.
Everything changed for me, so
Well-
that I could change whatever I was doing wrong had to change.
Yeah, well,
You know.
and it just, that's where it becomes a mental struggle.
Yep.
And
Some people can't get through that.
no, and it takes work. It takes a lot of work, actually, to do that, you know, and everybody will tell you shoot the back tension release. That'll help take care of a target panic or whatever. And that's true to a point. You know, I've seen guys that shoot back tensions have just as much target panic as anybody else because your mind once you shoot a back tension for a certain amount of time, you know when it's going off. I don't care what anybody tells you.
Yeah, you know.
And if they tell you differently, they're
Yeah,
lying.
you know the pull. You
Yeah.
know when it's gonna go.
Yeah, you know when it's on edge with a back tension release. You'll watch guys pull right through it, and they do that part rapidly, and then they slow down, and you see it like, and then it's still back tension release, and it breaks. But you'll see it, they get to that point where like, okay, now I really gotta aim.
Yeah.
Or you get the guys that actually, like a friend of ours, Lucas. You know, Lucas is probably one of the best target archers I know. And he'll pull back, and he gets to that little click. You see him go click, and then it's pulling through the shot. He's one of the most consistent guys I've seen. I mean, he'll shoot, whether he's shooting spots or shooting 3D or whatever, definitely one of the better shots. Him, Mike Burkholz.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, he's a great shot. A lot of guys from up by the Green Bay area, those guys, you know, target shooters. But sometimes when you get an animal in front of you, that changes.
Yeah, it's lifetime shooting.
Yep.
It is different, and
You don't you think, Mike? Like you and I have basically the same steps. So like we have like 6 steps, 5 steps in our shot sequence. You know, knock the arrow,
mm-hmm.
get the release on the string, go to full draw, square, push, pull, push,
Yeah.
pull, push, pull, shoot.
Yep.
And it isn't like we're shooting like this. It's push, pull, and then pulling like this, and aim, and boom, the shot breaks. And if I'm sitting there and aiming, and I know it's not gonna go, where all of a sudden if I think of anything but aiming my bow, I gotta let it down. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss that 12 ring.
Yep.
You know, and that could happen even with a deer.
Yep.
You know.
The best shots I make, I don't remember.
No. Do you mean the aiming part?
Yeah, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
It just goes off.
Yeah.
Those are the best shots I've ever made. Ever. In anything. And it's always been on aim.
You mean more the release side of it?
Yeah, I don't even know it.
The aim part you
I don't
remember,
know.
because you
Yeah.
pull up, put the pin
Yeah.
on it, and
And it just goes off.
Yeah.
Oh, it just goes off. That's
Yeah.
what I tell everybody. They don't understand. I'm like, I don't ever think of, and we call our release a back tension with a trigger.
Yeah.
Because you are pulling, our trigger's on the back in our palm,
Yeah.
and you're pulling the trigger backwards
Yeah.
through your shot.
So we're shooting what people call a thumb button as a back tension release. So we both shoot. We actually customize them. They're Carter, just cause plus, and we change. I've come up with a way. I come up with a configuration that fits in our hand better, and I machine them, cut them down for myself and my customers if they're interested in them. But we shoot them as a back tension in the center of our hand, and that's all we shoot.
Yep.
Year round.
No matter what we're shooting.
Yeah, whether we're shooting broadhead league, 3D league, spots, or hunting, that's the release we have in our hand. I've shot the same release, just so everybody knows, for the last 10 years. I've every now and then played with a back tension in my basement just for fun.
Yep.
But as for the hunting and shooting competition thing, I always shoot that Carter.
Yep. And I've shot them now for 6 years, and I don't shoot anything else. That's all I have.
Right.
And that's all I shoot every time. And I have friends of mine now that shoot them.
Yes.
Because they ask me, where'd you get that from?
Yeah.
How do you like that? And I have one that I give them and I let them go shoot it.
Yep.
I said, no, be prepared to punch yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pull back on it and you're going to grab the trigger and you're going to pull it.
Yeah.
You're going to smack yourself in the face. But it's, yeah, it's really repetition. It's really repetition.
100% repetition.
You know, like I tell a lot of people too, especially whitetail hunting, a lot of people, you know, they're like always like, well, I pass this deer up and pass that deer up. How many deer have you shot with a bow in general, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So take a few take a few deer with your bow. It really helps. You know, go out early and shoot a couple of does, or
Yeah.
you know, like we even like to do that. It's nice to put a doe down, and it just kind of makes you feel good about,
Reassures everything.
yeah, like everything's working, everything's right. You know, when that big boy comes, because like we always said, everybody wants to say they don't care if they shoot a buck or not, but everybody wants to shoot a buck.
Everybody wants to
So
shoot a buck.
you don't want to control what you can control.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
true. The
You
other
can
part,
control your shot.
yeah, 100%. And the other part of, you know, at least the hunting aspect of it, is make sure you shoot with all the equipment you're actually going to hunt with. You know, I'll shoot your broadheads. Make sure you shoot your broadheads. make sure go out and test a couple times with clothing.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot a glove on your hand, put glove on your hand. I've seen Mike shoot in middle of summer with a glove on his hand. Why? Because when he's shooting in the middle of the cold like it is now, there's a glove on. So,
yeah, you don't.
And I don't.
And we shoot same release, but he don't like having a glove. Like, I'll wear it.
I'll wear a glove on my bow hand,
Yeah.
but I won't on my release.
And it's a real thin glove.
Yeah.
But I know the feel of that trigger in my palm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be different than touching my palm.
Oh, it is.
So it'll go off earlier.
Just that little bit of thickness. If I was to put that glove on, a little bit of thickness, I could get probably 3/4 of the way through my draw and my release would go off just because of the thickness of that. That's how tight I am on my trigger when I get to full draw.
Yep.
So, I'd have to practice with that. I wouldn't just expect to go into the cold and do that.
Yep.
So, that's part of that.
Well, but, it's another thing too. People ask us all the time, like, the only time we shoot a field point will be
Indoor 3D.
indoor 3D over the winter.
Yep.
When we're shooting. Now, when it comes to spring, we're shooting broadheads.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All year.
Yep.
All summer. I don't care what my field points fly like.
No.
I don't care.
You don't care,
I
Mike?
don't care what field points fly like on my bow.
No.
So shoot your broadheads. Shoot your hunting arrows.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people a million times. That's been drilled in
But
my head.
Mike, your broadheads are supposed to fly like your field points.
God, we could get into that one.
But Mike,
Yeah, they're supposed to be the same. They're not going to be the same.
they're not going to be the
I
same.
don't care who tunes your bow. I don't care. I really don't. And, people argue with us. They will.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll
Will
get
you
them.
get some that shoot that way? Sure.
Oh yeah.
You get some. But, all your broadheads are going to fly a little different.
Yeah.
Even your field points fly different. I mean, we
100%.
see in 3D League, we twist and knock.
Oh yeah.
We have an arrow that's like, and we've tested our arrows. We spin our arrows. This arrow ain't working. Bottom of the quiver.
Yeah.
You're now number 3.
Yeah.
New number 1.
New number one.
It happens. It's not.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well-
things are machined to close tolerances, but they're not going to be perfect.
No. And knocks are notorious. They're actually
Oh, yeah.
molded plastic. So there is a thing called knock tuning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to that. More relevant when shooting longer distances.
Yes.
More relevant when shooting broadheads.
Yeah.
Mike and I will knock tune every one of the 24 arrows that we have set up for hunting. That's right,
and
24.
We lost a few last year.
We did lose a
in
few.
North Dakota.
ND's got some arrows.
ND's got a few punny stick pits out there.
But as for the confidence in making the shot when you're deer hunting, I believe, and Mike and I have talked about it before, and I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about it, is once you get that consistency down where your body's recognizing each motion into making the shot, this will make you a better hunter in the long run. If at any time during that draw cycle or aiming point during a deer hunt, all of a sudden something feels weird, chances are it is, and you're probably not going to hit the point where you're aiming.
Yeah. Not that I'm pushing for leagues, but it's a good thing to do. Shoot a league.
Oh yeah.
Shoot with people that are better than you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I do every time I go there. And you can ask Karl, because I say it all the time. Karl's like, you're a lot better shot than you think you are. I don't know. We go to the league, and I like, these guys are all better than me. But mentally, I'm better.
Well.
In my head, I'm better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shoot better. And
if you shoot with people that are better than you, whether it comes like, you shooting darts when you shot darts professionally and all that, all the way up to, us shooting leagues with all these guys that we shoot, because our club has some really great shots.
Really good shots.
It makes you better. You actually perform better because you've got that will to be better. If you want to be just mediocre and you're there just to kind of whatever and drink beer, well, have a good time. I don't care.
I don't want to look stupid in front of anybody either. Like I want to look good. I want to shoot my bow good.
Yeah.
And
the other aspect of that too is, for us, for you and I, is it whether my average is 224? I don't give a shit if my average is 224. What I want to know is,
what's an average?
am I going to be able to put that on my wall?
What's an average?
Yeah, average is.
I don't even know.
Yeah. If you win the high average plaque every year, and I'm not fucking hammering on anybody, congratulations, you've made a major accomplishment, especially in our club.
Yeah, it's tough.
But for me, my goal is not to try and get that higher average. I mean, if I was close, great, but I'm not that good of a shot. and we're shooting hunting equipment against guys with comp.
That's another thing. We shoot our hunting equipment all year.
Yeah, we're shooting thin line arrows
Yeah.
where everybody else has got
Big fat
PS23s and
shafts.
26s, and
That's
which
what-
is more power to them.
That's
They're
our
it's
hunting
legal for
bow.
them.
Stabilizers are on it. The Tacticams are on our bows
Oh yeah,
when we're shooting lead.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you don't believe it, come watch.
Yeah, it's there. We shoot at point at bow
But
hunters.
it's always the same, you
Yeah.
know, and that, Carl said, like, you know what, we lost our last league that Carl and I shot. Whatever,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that. We shot good, we shot real good, and it's a broadhead league, outdoor,
Yep.
and we love it, you know, we won it several times, and we lost it, whatever, okay, we lost it.
Put 3 animals on
Three
my
animals
wall.
on the wall. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Every
So
day.
it's, you know, you shoot. You know, use what you're going to hunt with. You know, that's what we do. It's what we've always done.
Yeah.
Repetition is, don't make it perfect. Stuff still happens. You know.
Right.
We had out west. You know, we're like, God, you know, we're missing, and you go back and watch the footage. It's a great shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect set in, you know, draw, follow through, you know, but something that you're shooting 80 to 90 to 100 yards at will move on you.
Of course.
You know, and you can make a great shot and it can break great, and,
Oh yeah.
you know, you're not going to hit those shots sometimes.
So there's a variable in there. Yeah.
So but yeah, I think that helps you with better people. Shoot a league, shoot your hunting equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be a good hunter, shoot your hunting equipment
Yep.
year round. We do.
If you want to be a great target archer, then shoot target equipment and shoot your target. That is great. But I'm telling you right now, your mechanics with your target bow are different than your mechanics with your hunting bow.
It's a different bow.
All the way around.
I don't have one.
Dude, I've got
I
a
don't.
TRX 38.
Carl does, I don't.
It's got scope and all everything on it, and you know, when I get invited to go shoot a money round with those guys, I go shoot them. But I'm not near as good as they are anymore because I don't shoot that bow constantly. That's what they shoot.
Right.
I shoot my hunting bow because that's what you and I do, and that's what we're gonna continue to do. Like this year, when we go shoot a lot of the indoor stuff, because we're going to this year,
Mhm.
we're gonna shoot our hunting equipment against guys who are using comp bows.
Yeah.
I mean, we're out there for our fun practice and do our
the
thing.
worst thing is you don't want to get beat by us.
No, because we will talk at you.
Yeah, we're gonna run
Oh,
that
yeah.
right down your throat.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I just beat you with my humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice bow.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Take them PS26 and throw a broadhead on it. You could. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
but
right.
You could do that. But that's kind of where we set our goals, I think.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, decide what you want to do. Do you want to be a great target shooter? I mean, obviously you want to be consistent at
Yeah.
shooting your targets, but it'll help you in the field. You know, take some animals with a bow, especially if you're bow hunting, which is all we talk about anyway.
I suppose we should probably get into that part of it though too. So the animal part of things is you should probably work on your mental game.
Yeah, I think your breathing is a big part of it.
A lot of people get really cranked up as soon as they see a deer.
Can't calm themselves down. I'm not gonna lie, like me personally, when I have a big buck come, like my heart does start to pound,
Mhm.
and it does it on whitetails,
Yeah.
which is weird. But the whitetail thing, I think, is for me, like you and I have talked about this. I think is because when I see that whitetail at that point, I know that I have to try to make this shot, and it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
So I get pretty cranked up, but it doesn't affect my shot.
Right.
You know, I don't get all cranked up until after.
Let's take your deer this year, for instance.
Yeah,
You're fucking around with that seat.
I was.
You
Yeah.
turn around,
Yeah, I'm jacking around in the stand on my seat.
here's your target buck coming at 35 yards.
Yep. And I was facing the tree, the buck's to my left, my bow then is on my right. You know, because I'm facing the tree.
Which is exactly the wrong side
Exactly
of
the
the
opposite of where, you know, so I see the deer, I know that it's Flyer, which I named him. I reach across my body, grab my bow. I have an arrow nocked, obviously already when I'm whitetail hunting, and my release is on the bow.
Yep.
And I actually did range earlier,
Yeah.
but I knew about where he was.
Yeah.
Set my pin, hit the tacticam to run it,
Yep.
pulled a shot the deer, took off. It was that quick, like, and I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like I let the bow down, and I'm like,
So you, in a matter of 15 seconds,
yeah.
you went from seeing the deer to judge in the yardage,
Yep.
to set in your pin, to turn in the camera on,
Yep.
to come into full draw, to putting an arrow through his chest cavity, watching him run over 45, 50 yards, fall over dead.
Yeah. And
15 seconds.
I actually set my pin. I
That's what I
reset
mean,
my pin
yeah,
from
yeah.
20 to, I put it at 25. Well, I thought I put it at 25, I put it at 24.
Yeah.
When I rearranged where he was, it was 23.8.
Okay. Well,
You know, because I,
hey, pretty good guess.
that was pretty good, you know, but I never thought of any of it. And
Yeah.
like I told Carl, and like when I gave Carl the footage, you can see it because
yeah.
literally my Tacticam comes on,
and
the deer comes into view, and the shot's off.
Yeah, he takes like 3 steps on the camera, and you kill it.
Yeah, and I never thought of it. And like I said, one of the greatest shots I made,
Yep.
didn't think about it at all.
Right. And you didn't even, you went to full draw, didn't even remember squeezing your trigger.
No,
It just
I don't
went off.
remember doing this one off.
Right.
Yeah, and it comes from what we do though.
Yeah.
Constant practice, and like I know, like I can take my bow out, and you can take your bow out, and I can pull my shot off.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can pull my trigger every time.
Yeah.
And I'll do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I know,
You know.
I know when you do it
Yeah.
in league, you're
Right.
like,
Yeah, man.
that one's out.
Yeah, that's junk. You know, and we know when that shot goes, it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's not good.
No.
That's left. That's high. Whatever. Because you know you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you know, like, again, the repetition part of it for the hunting aspect of it. You know, throughout the year, you guys, you should be getting these steps down by using your hunting equipment only, if you're doing this for hunting. So you get to the point where you know how to draw your bow. I don't know how many times I see it a lot at league, and people are bitching about hitting high or low or left or right. It's how these guys draw their bow and how they settle on the target. You know, I mean, when you first started shooting competition archery, what did I tell you all the time? You got to be above it and bring it down into it.
Yep.
I don't know how many times, and do not do this, you guys, because you're going to miss low. You'll watch people draw back, and their pin is below their target.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom. So as soon as you engage this muscle up here to bring it up in there, next thing you know, you got that lollipop bob. Don't. And the next thing you know, people get antsy because they know there's other people watching them or waiting, and they're bobbing. And instead of letting it down and starting over, coming top down, they go, don't shoot.
Let her go.
8 low. Right?
Yes.
Under the 12,
Yes.
maybe a 10 if you're lucky. And that's just how you draw your bow. I mean, that's just one thing. There's plenty of stuff out there that can tell you guys how to do it. But once you get into those steps and figure out what it takes for you to be more consistent at whatever yardage you want to shoot, the better off you'll be during a hunting situation, because things will start to become more automatic. The other part about deer hunting that I would suggest to people and tell people mostly is, if you see a deer and you decide this is a deer I'm going to shoot, stop looking at the rack. That simple.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if you...
There's a deer at the taxidermist right now when I dropped off a couple weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
They were on a drive,
Yeah.
gun drive.
Yeah.
Shot it right through the beam.
Oh, I seen it.
Yeah, did you see it there?
Jeff showed it to me.
Yeah. Not a smaller caliber rifle is the only reason it didn't blow the whole beam off of it.
Right.
It blew right through the beam.
Yeah. He had to shot like a 223 or something.
Oh my God! Look at that rack.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna kill it shooting into the horn.
Nope.
You know, yeah, you gotta stop looking. And we talked about this last year when we did our year end. You know, we talked about I was gonna take a shot in this buck. Like, I don't know how big he was.
Yeah.
I'm like, good enough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll worry about that when I'm lucky enough to put my hands on it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you can tell if it's an animal you want to shoot or not when you're at first glance. If you are one of those people that wants to look at the size of the rack and try and assess what it scores, I'll be honest, don't really want to talk to you anymore. Throwing it out there. Change the channel, move on, I guess. I don't know. If you have a goal where you say, I want to shoot 140-inch deer or more, you should be able to mentally see that right away and make that decision.
Yes.
And you probably don't have the problem that we're talking about right now anyway,
No.
to be honest with you.
I'll tell you too. You know, we talk about conditioning all the time.
Body conditioning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not, conditioning for one thing, especially with your breathing and being able to get yourself back under control,
Yeah.
because it's harder to do. And especially we do it a lot because we're out west.
Right.
So you're already, you know, on the go after an animal. And now that shot might be right now. You got to pull it up, you got to make it. You know, whether you just ran half a mile or went up a hill for a mile, whatever it is, you got to be able to slow your breathing down and be able to do that. And yes, it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a personal trainer for 20 years.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what kind of shape you're in right now, but if you're not working on it, again, it's something you can control, you know.
You will notice this throughout the rest of this
Yeah.
year that we will talk about variables that you can control as a hunter.
Control. You know, and your shoulder muscles
Yeah.
in general, I'll just tell everybody, look it up. Look up the muscles in your shoulder, look up the muscles that it takes to shoot a bow repetitively. People think a lot of it is more your hand that you're drawing the bow back with. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It is the arm you're holding the bow with actually takes more stress than when you're drawing your bow back,
Oh,
muscle-wise.
Yeah.
And feel free to argue with me because it is a fact.
Yeah.
So, and people don't think of it that way,
Yeah.
but it's usually your front arm or your holding arm, whatever you want to call it, that gets shaky or
Yeah.
drops,
Yeah.
you know, or
I see it a lot with, well, a lot of people say they watch us and they say, how much your guys' bow weigh? I'll be honest with you, our bows weigh between 9 and 10 pounds.
yeah, heavy.
They're probably closer to 10, maybe a little over that now. But the reason that is for out west, we're shooting in the wind, right? And you'll see a lot of the guys from up north I know that are really good target shooters. I mean, they got a ton of weight on their bows. Front, back, stabs. I mean, shooting a lot of weight on their bows. But those bows are stable.
Right.
But these guys, like you, like me, work out and they're strong individuals. Especially when it comes to their archery, their upper
Yep.
body and their shoulders and their back and everything. That's really, really important. Again, why you shoot all year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying, I mean, I would recommend you go to the gym and work these muscle groups, but if you shoot your bow constantly, trust me, you're strong.
You're working them.
Yeah. So that's like when you first see a first person that they're normally shooting a bow or whatever, and they get like 3 arrows in, and all of a sudden they're back here, and it's, you know, and they shoot 60 arrows.
Hey, you leave me out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Well, I went through it last year, where I had that shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere. I think I know what caused it, but it put me out for, boy, I couldn't hunt for 2 weeks.
He actually went down to my place and didn't shoot a deer because he
Yeah.
knew he couldn't draw his bow
I
back.
couldn't pull my bow back, and it wasn't my arm to draw the bow back. It was my left arm.
Yeah, your
I couldn't hold the bow out in front of me, you know, and it was horrible. And like I did everything I could do to get that back in time
Yeah.
so that I could go hunting.
Yeah.
You know, if it would have been a voodoo doll, like I told Karl, like if somebody told me I got a voodoo doll, stick a bunch of pins in it, it'll work, I'm like, get it.
You
Do it.
You were a voodoo doll. You
Yeah,
went and got acupuncture.
Yeah, I did acupuncture. I did chiropractic, which are two things I believe in.
Yeah.
And they helped me a ton.
Yep.
And I was back hunting. Obviously, I shot my deer.
Yep.
Went out west, shot a deer.
Yep.
So it's been good, but and I work out every day.
7 days a week.
You know, 7 days a week, and like do different things. I, you know, have been a trainer for a long time, and it's if you're not working that stuff out, it'll get you. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I get shaky in league when we first start shooting league.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll start out. My first 10 arrows are pounding. I'm like, I start getting bad. I'm mad myself. This is bull. I shouldn't be shaky. You know.
Yeah. Well, you're using you know you can lift weights all you want.
Yep.
You start shooting your bow and you're shooting a lot of arrows. You're actually using a different muscle group. More in, I guess I want to say the smaller muscle groups than like your bigger stuff. And that's where you'll start to notice you'll start to get that float where you'll get the bottom because you're kind of down. That sort of thing. Definitely something you should be doing is shooting year round. We'll probably end the podcast there. We appreciate the question. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching right here on YouTube. If you guys get a chance, hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner there. That'll subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell. Turn it all black, and then every time we come out with a new podcast, you guys will be able to see the podcast. Every time we're doing any of our small property layout or any of our hunts, you guys will be able to check all of that stuff out. It'll come right to you every video we put out there. So we appreciate that.
So everyone's probably good too. Get that out as best we can with the things that work for us.
Correct. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.